welcome to Tech Teach-In. We are going to be talking about how to take and send photos on your, well, in this case, iPhone, but on your smartphone in general. And some of the goals for today are to learn about some of the features on the phone camera, because there's actually a lot of different settings you can do before you even take the photo. I want to help you learn how to access and edit your photos on your phone without any extra apps, just kind of the built-in Photos app, and then learn how to share your photos with text, email, or social media. So there's 3 different ways to get to your camera from your iPhone. So the first way to get there, you can see in this first image here, which is on the lock screen. Judy, I don't know if your phone has the little button on it, if it's an older one, but it should still have this camera button on the bottom right when it's on the lock screen. And if you touch that and hold it, it should open up the camera. And you don't even have to unlock your phone. And the second way is to go to the actual camera app, which looks like this one here, the gray square with the darker gray camera image on it. And then the last way is from the control panel. So depending on what version of the iPhone you have, you might get to this control panel a little bit differently. But for the newer phones, you slide your finger down from the top right corner to about the middle, like in this motion. And then that will give you this control panel, which has an option to turn the camera on. And if you have an Android phone, it's similar, but will just look slightly different on the screen. So when you're in the camera, there are a lot of these different symbols that may not be obvious what they do because they don't actually have text on them. They're just these buttons. So I just want to point out some of these. Some of them might be obvious, like this lightning bolt is the turning on the flash. If it has a slash through it, that means the flash is off. And if you can toggle it on and off by just clicking on it on the screen. On iPhones, there's a special thing called Live Photos, which is this kind of circle that's sort of hollow and has like dots around the outside. You can turn Live Photo on and off if you don't like it. I don't know if you've seen what a live photo looks like, but it actually moves slightly. So it kind of captures maybe about a 1 second, 2 second video instead of actually taking just a still photo. And this can be great if you're like trying to take a picture of an animal or like a child or something, and they're like moving around. You can actually kind of get like a 1 second feed and get the best photo, even if they're moving. So that can be good to use, but if you don't like it, you can turn it off. You can zoom in. So this little 1 times circle icon is how you zoom in. You can also zoom in by using 2 fingers on the screen and sort of spreading out or closing in, and that will also zoom in and out. The main photo button, which looks like a circle like this right here on the bottom left, if you just tap that once, it will take a picture. But if you tap and hold it, it goes into burst mode, which means it just takes a bunch of photos until you stop holding the button. So again, if you're trying to take a picture of something moving, or it's like an animal flying, like a bird flying or something, and you're trying to capture it, but if you just take 1 photo, it might be hard to get. You can do burst, and that will help it'll just take like, maybe like 20, 30 photos at a time. And that way you can pick the one that actually got what you were trying to take a picture of.
Excuse me, Rachel, that's a question I have. Was like, I have these burst photos, but I just want one of them. And so like, I want to get rid of the other 2, let's say. But when I say, delete, it would delete everything. So I can't keep one. So how do I just keep one of those bursts?
Okay, that's a good question. Yeah. Let's see. I will actually try to share the screen from my phone instead of my computer so you can see what I'm looking at. So hold on 1 second. All right. Can you see my phone?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Oops, you can see this picture of me and my husband on top, right?
Oh, that's nice. That's good.
So you can see in the top left corner, the flash is turned off because it has a flash through the lightning bolt. And then the top right corner, that's where the live photo thing is. You can turn that on and off by clicking on it. Now it's off.
Okay.
Okay, and then if I want to do burst photo, so the main, that big circle in the bottom is where you would take the photo. It used to be that you would just push down the center button and hold it, but now you actually have to push it down and then drag it all the way to the left. Now see the numbers going up and up in the center? That's how many photos it just took.
When drag to the left, why is showing the number like 32 and so on? Is that mean? What does that mean?
That's how many pictures it's taking.
Oh, I got it.
It's rapidly taking a bunch of photos in a row. So like that will help you if you're trying to take a photo of something that's moving. It can help you to capture what you're trying to take a photo of, and then you can delete the ones you don't want. Okay, so try this again. Maybe this will work. Okay, so we're back in the camera app, and you can see in the top, very top, where it says in gray font near the little arrow right here, it says burst 34 photos. Can you see that?
Okay.
Okay, so if you see at the bottom, my phone doesn't turn off, you can see it says select right here in blue font. So if you click on the select, then you get all the 34 photos, and that's where you can choose the one that you want to keep.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
really
you just,
helpful.
and then you just click done when you're done.
Oh,
And you can either keep everything or just keep the one you selected. If you just do keep only the one you favorited, then it's going to delete all the other ones.
okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, so this little arrow circle thing, that is how you flip the camera to the front facing. Like if you want to take a selfie, for example, you could flip the camera to face you instead of the back. One thing to note about that though is the front camera, the quality is much lower. So like if you're trying to take a high resolution, like high quality photo, it's better to use the back camera, but they both work. And then the last thing is this timer. So this is if you're trying to like take a group shot and you want to like put your phone on something and then step back and let it take a photo. So it'll just count down however long you set it for. You could set it for like 5 seconds or 10 seconds before it actually takes a photo. I've only tried to use that like once, and it's always terrible because you can't, like, it's hard to angle it right so you actually capture what you're trying to do, but that setting does exist.
How would you know it's taken? It will have a light?
Yeah, so if you turn the flash on, that's a good way to tell, because then it will flash and you'll know it took the photo. Or you just have to stand there and count to 10, and hopefully it takes a photo before you move. Okay. So when you want to edit or share photos, whether you're on iPhone or Android, you want to go to the Photos app. So you can get to the Photos app through the camera, but you can also just go to, on iPhone, this rainbow app is where you see all your photos. And when you're in there, there are some different major ways to edit a photo. So the first way is you'll see these 3 gray circles, and I'll show you this on my phone in a second, but when this symbol means apply a filter. So this is kind of like Instagram. If you want to put like an actual filter on the photo, it sort of like makes it a certain style. Like maybe you want to make it black and white or sepia tone or some other kind of color. That's a filter. If you want to do more like simple, like adjusting just like the brightness or the colors, if it's maybe you took the photo and it was kind of dark, you can adjust that with under the symbol that kind of has this like half circle with the little dots on the outside. That's for just general kind of exposure, brightness, etc. And then the last thing here, which is really useful, is the crop and straighten option. So this is where you can make the photo, you can adjust like how much of the photo you keep. You can cut off the ends, or you can also straighten it out if it's crooked. And I'll show you this in a second too. So you can see if I go to edit, so you see all the different options here. This is a crop, this is the filters, and this is the brightness at the bottom. And so if I want to straighten this photo out because it's kind of crooked, I go to the crop button, and you can adjust these corners. So if I want to cut off part of the image like that. I can basically like zoom it in. But you can still see it's kind of crooked, right? So if I want to straighten it out, you can slide this slider and you can see it's rotating the photo as I slide it. So I want to make it so like the door is upright. So I'd have to slide it about that much. And you can see now it's upright and the table's facing the right direction. So that's really useful if you accidentally took kind of a crooked photo, and that can straighten it out. I think everything else is a bit kind of self-explanatory. You can play around with the brightness or the color or add a filter. Let's go back to sharing. Oh, and then so for sharing the photo, once it's all cropped and edited, however you want to do it, the share button looks like a square with an arrow coming out the top. So if you look on mine, if you can see in the bottom corner there next to the heart, there's that square with an up-facing arrow. That's how you share. So if I click on that, you're going to get different options. So you can see different apps. You can see email, texting. You can also see people that I contact at the top. So you can see Jacqueline's in there if I wanted to send it to Jacqueline in a text message. So if you want to share to a text message, you would just click on the Messages app, the green chat, and then it shows up in a text message, and you just have to put in the phone number you want to send it to or the name of the contact if you have the contact in your phone already. And it's the same way with email. It'll just show right up in this won't work on your iPad, Sylvia, unless you have, unless you're trying to text it to someone who has like an iPhone and it won't work for texting, but you can email if you're on Wi-Fi. So you can select your email and then it will open an email and you can just send a photo. And you can actually send multiple photos at the same time. You don't have to just pick one. So if I'm in here, right, and this is just the Photos app, the main page of the Photos app, you can see all these weird pictures of the office that I just took. So if you wanted to select multiple photos and send them to people, what you do is in this top corner, it says select. And so if I click on select, now if I click on pictures, you're going to get a blue checkbox on it. And so all the ones I touch will get a blue checkbox or a blue like circle. You can see now I have multiple with the blue circle and the check mark. If I want to send those all at the same time, I just click on the share button again at the bottom, right here. And then I can send all of them at the same time instead of just one at a time. So that's pretty much it. I have these links here that you can watch, and there's some videos in here for how to do some of this stuff in really step-by-step detail. And if you want kind of more specific help too, like on a certain thing, or if you have some kind of sort of troubleshooting a specific issue, we can also connect you with a tech help volunteer, and they can actually just sit down with you and kind of go through how to do it